So in this episode of the review, we are going to be looking at the story Broken Promises. This story does touch on miscarriages, and I don't believe 10 minutes is enough to really dedicate to this story. I don't think 40 minutes is enough, but we are going to focus primarily on this story and try to do it justice. So thank you again for joining us, and I do hope you enjoy the conversation. If you would like to get involved in our next review, please do get in touch with me via my email address or Instagram or the YouTube page. There's so many ways you can get in touch. Okay, so this is a very emotive subject, and we do try to be as respectful as we can be. So I hope you enjoy the conversation, and please feel free to get involved. Thank you. Hello, and welcome to Four Wives on the Mic presents Wives Tales, the review. So this week we're going to be reviewing 3 different stories, and the first one we're going to go into, well, first off, I'm going to introduce everybody. So first off, we've got Ade.
Okay, hi everyone. My name's Adeola Adeyemi, but everyone calls me Addy. I'm a doctor, and my specialty is obstetrics and gynaecology, which is the care of pregnant women and of women problems. It's my passion. I enjoy talking about it. I enjoy doing it. I feel that every woman should be educated and empowered throughout her journey from pregnancy into motherhood and beyond.
Oh, yes.
Love
Thank
that.
you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you joining in. And we also have another special guest who has very good credentials too. I mean, so we have Tanwa. Would you like to introduce yourself? I know you are a mum of 2 yourself, and you are a wife.
Hi everyone, my name is Tanwa Okwara. I'm a wife, a mother of 2 beautiful handsome boys. My boy always correct me. Handsome boys. I'm also a midwife, so I enjoy being with women during their pregnancy and childbirth, and just having the privilege to experience their journey with them. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Well, again, thank you so much for joining the conversation. We do appreciate you as a wife, as a midwife. I know you're going to drop some gems on us. So yes, thank you very much. And last but not least, we have Funsho, who is a returnee, which I don't mind. It means that you enjoyed yourself last time. So as you know, I stated before, Funsho again is married. You've been married for what, 7 years now, haven't you?
8 years actually, 8 years in March.
Oh, 8 years. So yeah, so a wife of 8 years, again a mum of 2, but also you are
IT consultant, so I guess I'm the odd woman out tonight.
No, not at all. All right, so the first story that we're going to go into is it's called Broken Promises. Now, I'm not going to go too much into it, but for the sake of the conversation, it does touch on the subject of miscarriages, and it does go into there. So just off the bat, in terms of your first opinions, what did you think of the story, and did you find that you could relate to it? Do you feel it was quite realistic in terms of how the woman was feeling, just from your experiences professionally, from women you've spoken to or you've been around? What did you think of the story and its portrayal of potentially losing a child?
I think the story was quite realistic actually, because from the portrayal, what I understood, it felt like they were newlyweds. Well, I'll try not to give too much away, and it wasn't really planned, but it was a happy accident. So to an extent, she had to come round to it first anyway. So it took some time to build up into wanting it and loving it, and then just when it started to feel like, yes, we're doing this, then heartbreak. And I'm sure that's not a story that too many people are unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
According to the Miscarriage Association, miscarriage affects about 1 in 4 pregnancies, which is about 25%. So it's a lot more common than we think. It's just that people don't talk about it. It's very sensitive and almost a taboo in some settings, because people only want to find out about the pregnancy shoot, the delivery, and the baby
baby shower.
pictures.
Baby
Nobody
shower.
wants the baby shower. Nobody wants to talk about the sad bits. Nobody wants to talk about the loss and the heartbreak. So I thought it was very relatable, and it was very well told as well.
Definitely. Well, thank you for that. I mean, the person that all the stories are based on true stories, and the person that actually contributed that story, it took her quite a while to agree to, to letting me use that story, because as you said, there is a taboo around it.
I'm speaking of taboos. I definitely understand that. Now, while I cannot really, obviously, I've never been in that situation where I was looking forward to holding a baby after 9 months and then losing the baby subsequently. I have had, I would say, a scenario of miscarriage personally. Marriage is not something, especially a newlywed, looking forward to starting a family. It's not something anyone wants to go through. And
so for you, why did you feel like you couldn't really speak about it or, talk to people about it?
I don't know. I guess there was me feeling guilty that, well, like, you didn't want it in the first place, so maybe it's your fault. And I know what my mom would say, because, well, thoughts weren't positive in the first instance. I don't know. I guess it was done. Like, what would I have gained from telling her besides her getting sad?
I guess so. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being open and actually sharing that, because my hope is that the story itself, and just us talking about it and exploring the theme, the idea of miscarriages and the real life lived experience, will actually help someone, whether it's help them kind of get over their loss or to understand better, or I just hope it helps someone. That's kind of my hope and my hope. So thank you so much for sharing that. I just wanted to go a bit more into, as a midwife, your experience or your thoughts on the story and the way it was kind of written in terms of that experience for that woman.
I think that the story was very relatable in terms of when the times that I've cared for women that have had miscarriages. Personally, myself, I haven't had a miscarriage, but I remember during the early stages of my second pregnancy, I had bleeding, but that feeling, that gut feeling in your stomach when you do wipe, upon wiping, and you do see that bright red blood. It's not something I could put into words. Like in the story, and I think most women, you are in a toilet by yourself because your partner is not in the toilet with you, or your husband's not in the toilet with you. So you do have that first experience of looking at it and seeing it and thinking, oh my God, what is this? Is it or is it not? And trying to remain calm is it was very hard, and not panicking, although in your head you are panicking. I remember for me, I was panicking, and I think I experienced it probably about 3 times before I actually alerted my husband.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to worry him.
Yeah.
How weird is that? I didn't want to worry him, and I know from my experience for caring for most women, they don't want to worry. They don't want to worry their other half, and I find that bizarre. Why are we like that? So by the 3rd morning, it was just happening in the morning, every morning. I thought, it's nothing, it'll be okay. Secretly praying and hoping that it will be okay. And thank God for me, it was okay. But for many other women that I have cared for, it hasn't been okay. And it's that sense of guilt. They could have what they could have done better. Is it something that they did? If they've had, I hate to say, if they've had sex, was it the sex they had last night? Was it the hoovering they did, or heavy lifting that they did? A lot of thoughts goes around this women's mind. And going back to the subject of taboo, that's very real in some culture, most especially the Yoruba Nigerian culture. from what you said, what you mentioned earlier about, you know, the you're not meant to bury your child. I've cared for many women that have had late miscarriages that really want to see the baby, and because of the culture, if they have their partner, if they have their mum with them, they say no. And I'm like, are you sure? I mean, I remember a case of caring for a lady. I'm not going to mention any names for confidential reasons. And I saw that baby. That baby was absolutely beautiful.
Oh.
Absolutely beautiful. So much so I went back and said, are you sure you don't want to see him? He's absolutely gorgeous. She goes, that's fine. The fact that you're telling me that, you know, brings joy to my soul. And I could tell she really wants to, but he didn't want to. And many of the men, I don't know whether it's a fear factor. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is for the men, but I always find the women want to cuddle. You know, it's this instinct, the maternal instinct that we have, isn't it? So I feel like you don't have to hold a baby, you know, in your arms to be a mother. The minute take that pregnancy test, the minute you see that positive line, you become a mother. You know, from maternal, you want to protect this, you know, this being within you. So yeah, it's difficult for the woman, for the family going through miscarriages. And rest assured, ladies, is, you know, we don't take it for granted as healthcare professionals. Sorry for you, you know, for you guys, because we go back and we go back, we think about it, we go back and we play conversations back again, don't we, Ade? You know, so we don't take it for granted at all.
I think Tam was absolutely right, because there's the guilt. I think that's the first thing. After people get over the shock and the sadness, then you get the questions like, is it something I did? Is it something we did? And most times, I think just for whoever's listening out there, it's not something you did. Sometimes it's just due to other underlying factors. Sometimes there's a reason. Sometimes there's no reason at all. We just can't find any. And I think such times it's even when it's hardest for women, because we can't tell them what the problem is, and we can't guarantee that it
won't happen again.
Because that's the next question after, well, is it something I did? No, it's not. What caused it? Well, there may be some reasons, but we're not always sure. And then it's, will it happen again? And you can always go, we hope not. Most women will go on to carry a normal pregnancy, as long as we can exclude the things causing. And if there are no reasons still, people will go on to have normal, healthy pregnancy. As I said, it's more common than we think. It's just that we don't talk about it. So I think just trying to comfort women and reassure them and give them information. But I think we need to address this not talking about it. And it's for several reasons, because I think, as Funshaw said as well, sometimes people don't want to talk. Because it's very hurtful, it's deeply personal. You need to process your own grief in your own way. And sometimes, as the Yoruba culture says, I don't think people can relate to it, or sometimes the way people sympathize, or for want of a better word, the way it's like, oh, well, what did you do? Did you not do this? Did you not do that? And it's like, well, it's not deliberate. It wasn't intended. So sometimes people just think, you know what, I can't be bothered to deal with all that. I'll just keep it to myself. And sometimes there's the not knowing how to bring it up, because you can't just suddenly, you know, people feel like, well, I can't drop that bomb on someone else. You know, I'm struggling to cope. I don't know what their reaction will be. So it's a two-way thing. It's knowing, and I think allowing women to know there's a safe space that you can just talk about it. Sometimes we might not know how to respond, because people go, oh, I'm sorry. Not sure what else to say.
Daddy's downstairs.
Do you feel that way as well? Sometimes people are not quite sure how to respond when a woman mentions that she's had a miscarriage. And I think sometimes people go, oh, don't worry, you know, you have another one. But I think their grief is valid. People don't just want it to be swept under the carpet like nothing happened. You're noticing that some Caucasian families, people count the children they didn't have. So I see people come to deliver with tattoos, And the names on the tattoos outnumber the children they say they have. And they go, oh yeah, the middle one or the third one or something was a child that was lost, or they
Yeah,
volunteer to you that this is a rainbow baby, meaning a baby born after a loss. So in other cultures, people talk about it more openly, but I think it's just
definitely.
addressing that and just creating more awareness.
But actually, recently I found that I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if on social media I've noticed that a lot more women are actually saying my angel baby, but I'm trying to think if it's babies that were born and then were lost.
I also think it could be the fact that, you know, majority of miscarriages are usually in the first trimester,
True.
and a lot of people haven't, you know, told anyone that they are pregnant, you
Pregnant.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
you do get the minority that do tell a lot of people the minute they say, you know, they take the pregnancy test and
Mm,
they announce it to the world and whatnot. But majority of the majority of women don't really see anything until they've had their first scan.
True.
So it's
True.
hard to then, you know, maybe say to friends and family, I was pregnant, now I'm not pregnant. So
Mm.
I can't imagine having to deal with that myself.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh, we didn't know. It's like, how do you deal with the emotion of joy that they will feel that you've announced your pregnancy, and the
Mm,
sadness that comes with it, saying that you have lost a pregnancy?
yeah.
So I think that could be a contributing factor to why, as a society, we don't talk about miscarriages as much as we should,
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of, you know, like Ade said earlier, 1 in 4 pregnancies do end up, you know, in a miscarriage.
Yeah.
So I think that might be a contributing factor.
Okay, so in like your professional opinions, this is to Ade and Tanwa, what have you found that there's a way of dealing with the situation that's worked for you, or in terms of speaking to mums, and is there anything that you would maybe even suggest for anyone that's having to, I don't know, live with a mum that's lost a baby, or a good friend, or a parent, or a sister? How would you say would be the best way, from your experience of speaking to mums, of dealing with the situation?
I think every woman is different, and how every woman deals with grief is
Mm-hmm.
different. So if you are friends with someone, or you live with someone, or it's a sibling, and if they've confided in you and told you, know that it's taken a lot for them to come forward with it in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think respecting that, and then letting them lead the conversation is, do they want to talk about it, or do
Mm-hmm.
they just want you to be there?
Just to
Do they just want a shoulder to cry on? Because sometimes I think when we're in hospital, given all the information, people are just dazed by all the numbers and information and procedures coming at them. None of it has really sunk in. I think maybe it's when they get in the car or get through the door, or just finally say it out loud to someone else, that the emotions start to hit. So I think just give them space, but not to isolate them. I mean, let them talk.
yes.
Because you will have your questions like, what happened? What did the doctor say? Can we
Yeah.
fix it? Or in the first instance, just let them talk. And sometimes silence is okay. They just want to process everything for a minute. I think in terms of physical things, if you're physically with them, maybe if they're working or they're doing something, maybe just try and get them to take a break, just to deal with it. Because some people, like myself, like to work as a distraction. So when something happens, just, I need to get on with work because that helps me take my mind off things. Some people want to work, some people don't. And sometimes it means people telling them, I think you should just take a break, take a minute. And they'll go, I'm okay, I'm fine. Are you sure? Just let them lead the way, things go.
Yeah.
Support them if they want you to come to an appointment with them. It might feel a bit awkward. If you're okay to go, then go. And if they don't want you to come with them, that's fine too. Don't say, I have to go with you, or I need. Sometimes people can wait in the car. So I think it's the little things. And when they want to talk about it, it's fine. I think what's not okay is ignoring it or acting like nothing happened. Told you. So don't pretend or think, I might make them uncomfortable, or I might make them awkward. and just say, are you okay? Are you coping? How's your mental health? Or if they see something, for some people it's baby clothes or baby shoes or baby adverts on TV. If you're with them and something comes on and you see it's generating a reaction, you can squeeze their hand, just rub their shoulders, let them know that you recognize that that is something that is triggering for them.
Yeah.
So it's in the little things, I think, in my opinion.
Okay.
Tell me, what do you think?
I totally agree with what you've said, Ade. I couldn't agree anymore, because it's just knowing, just letting them know that you're there for them at any given time. If it's just by just dropping a text or a message, thinking about you, if you need anything, let me know. And I think for those people that are of faith, I think it's a difficult one, because a lot of people want to throw out the Bible verses, you know. And to be honest, yeah, for some women, they might find comfort in that. They might find that reassuring. They might, you know, it might help their grieving process. I think you need to know the person as well before you start saying, oh, don't worry, God will provide another one. Yeah, let them grieve, just like Ade said. And everybody goes through the grieving process differently. So just knowing that you're there for, you know, just being there for them in any way, shape or form, by it cooking, by it coming around to clean, by it going window shopping, afternoon tea, whatever it is that you know brings that person comfort, you know, that they enjoy doing. You're not, you know, you're not shying away from what's happened, but you're just helping them through the process.
Just in addition to what Amber said, what I really liked about it was her husband just saying, I got you. And I mean, he didn't have to say more than that. It just showed that he was there. That's, I think, if I was in her shoes, those 3 words or the 3 words will have been so reassuring. So yeah, I really like that part of the story.
Yeah. Well, ladies, our time together is coming to a close. What time is it? Yeah, we've probably got about 5 minutes left, but I must say thank you so much for getting into this topic with me. Any kind of parting information or last words that you'd like to throw in for people listening and watching?
I just quickly want to add that the Miscarriage Association, so people can Google it, has lots of helpful information, useful tools, and you find lots of good things on there. So just Google the Miscarriage Association.
What I'll do is I'll put a link in the description box. All right, Tangwa?
For me, it will have to be the saying, it's okay not to be okay.
Yes.
So it's okay to feel the way you're feeling. It's okay to cry. It's okay to shout. It's okay to let out that emotion that's within you. It's okay. Okay, just make sure you find yourself a good support network around you. Always surround yourself with positive, supportive people. That would help as you know, as time goes on, as you deal with if you're dealing with a miscarriage. It's okay not to be okay, and look after yourself.
Definitely. And do you have anything you want to finish on?
Like Tamla said, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to want to talk about it. It's okay to want to talk about it, cry. However best you can deal with grief is obviously the person involved.
Thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate you, getting involved and supporting on this platform. I really hope somebody is able to get something out of this. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Please like if you like it, subscribe or follow if you love it, and if you like and love it, share it with all your friends. All right, guys, well, thank you so much, and I hope you have a good week. I don't even know when I'm going to post this, but week, a month, a day. Enjoy yourself.
And you too. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
If you were affected by any of the things that we spoke about today, I will leave the link below for the Miscarriages website, so the Miscarriages Society website. And yeah, please do speak to somebody. You're not alone, and there is support out there. Reach out to me if you would like more information. I don't mind. I will Google it, search it, send it, find it, however I can. All right, thanks again. Look after yourself. Bye bye.